Sweet Savant is cooking from items in the pantry. We're going to do a chicken stir fry with noodles. We're going to go ahead and put our noodles into our boiling water. Give that a stir. And this is a wheat noodle. I'll show you the package that we got from our local Korean market. It's a medium dried oriental noodle. You can use an egg noodle. Those are usually easily found in your grocery store. I'm going to make a sauce for our stir fry with cornstarch. And you'll see, I'll put the amounts in the notes so you'll know exactly how much we used, or approximately how much we used. I'm going to do cornstarch, some Shaoxing wine. I'm going to whisk that together. And soy sauce. In about equal amounts. We're just going to whisk it to remove any lumps. The cornstarch is going to thicken our sauce at the end so that it'll coat the noodles. I'm going to add a little red pepper flake, depending on how spicy you like it. And that'll be ready and waiting for us when we need to finish our recipe. Now we're going to go on to our chicken breast. And here we have 2 chicken breasts. One I already started. I'm going to cut it in half lengthwise and then cut it again into 1/4 inch slices. And we're going to use 1/4 inch slices because we want this to cook really quickly and evenly. So we don't want our chicken breast to dry out. You can also do a stir fry like this with beef. I like to use hanger steak, or even flat iron steak is really good. It's a fairly lean cut of beef and it stays tender as you cook it. So we're going to put our chicken into our bowl. And it's really important to have cutting boards that you use specifically for raw chicken and beef, so that way you don't cross-contaminate your food. Now I'm going to wash my hands since we just worked with the raw chicken. And I'm going to check on our noodles. Our noodles only need to cook for about 3 or 4 minutes. They are just about done, so we're going to drain that and then rinse it under cold water. Get this towel so I don't burn myself. I'm going to drain our noodles. Ooh, and get a nice steam for your face, good for your skin. We're going to rinse it under cold water before we move on to our last step. Shake all the excess water off because we don't want our sauce to end up too watery. I'm going to put that into a bowl and set that aside. Our oil is getting nice and hot. We have about 3 tablespoons of oil. To our chicken breast, we're going to add about 2 tablespoons of cornstarch and toss it to coat. Then we're going to begin to stir fry our chicken. We're going to stir fry our chicken in batches because you don't want to overcrowd your pan. Your chicken will just steam and it won't really fry. We want it to be a little bit crispy on the outside, but stay moist on the inside. And toss it with that cornstarch to help give us a nice coating. See, is our oil hot enough? It looks good. We're going to start by frying some of our chicken, and when we come back, we're going to move on to stir frying our vegetables. We're on our last batch of chicken. We're careful not to overcrowd our pan because we don't want our chicken to steam. We're going to turn it over and be sure not to overcook your chicken because the chicken is going to finish cooking in the sauce. With this popping, so be very careful. Look at that hot grease on you. It's not going to be a good day. So just going to let it brown on this other side. And then we're going to take our chicken out of the pan onto a plate. And you'll see some juices begun to collect on the plate. And that's going to go back into our final sauce. We put the chicken and everything back into there. Now we're going to stir fry the rest of our ingredients, our vegetables. But just before I do that, I'm going to pour out some of this oil. This is the pan I just had the chicken in. It's got a little too much oil for our final stir fry. That's about a tablespoon. That's really all we need. And into this pan, we're going to smash some garlic. These are some small cloves. You do one smash just to get the paper off. And then a good smash to flatten it. And the same thing with this ginger. I'm just going to take off the outside skin and give it a smash. And let that go into our oil. And that's going to season our oil. And they're in big pieces, so you can just pull the ginger out at the last minute and not eat a big chunk of ginger. We're going to let that cook for just a couple of seconds, and then we're going to go in with our onions, sliced white onion, some thinly sliced carrot, because we want it to cook really quickly and keep it moving. And then our sugar snap peas. And with the sugar snap peas, sometimes when you get them from the grocery store, they can be a little stringy. This one didn't have a string. But you just want to pull that string off because that can make a really chewy, tough stir fry. So we're going to stir fry that. Nice high heat. And then we're going to get our sugar snap peas in. And let that stir fry. Lost one. And then that's going to cook for a bit. Remember our sauce over here? That's ready to go with us. We're just going to whisk it up because the cornstarch kind of settles at the bottom. We'll whisk it up a little bit. Now that our rest of our vegetables have started to cook, this is about 2 cups of spinach. Because usually when I go shopping, I'll pick up a bag of spinach, and we always have some left over that you may not want to eat raw in a salad, just because it's been hanging around for a little while, but it's perfectly good for stir fry. We're going to add our sauce ingredients right into the hot pan. And that's going to start to thicken, and you can smell when the heat hits the Shaoxing wine. That aroma arises. We're going to put in our noodles and our chicken breast. That's a little thick, so we're going to add in a little bit of water. Turn our heat down just add a little bit of water into that. Just to loosen up our sauce a bit. We get a fresh pair of tongs because we use the raw chicken with the other tongs, so we'll just use a fresh pair. And we're going to just toss it around. Get our noodles coated in that sauce. And there you have it. Let me grab a plate. Let's clear this stuff out of our way. We'll grab a plate. You have a quick stir-fry dinner. Chicken and vegetables, things that we just had in our pantry and in our fridge. We're going to make sure we get lots of colorful vegetables on our plate and chicken. Oops, excuse me. Get a little messy. And there you have it. Our stir-fry chicken and vegetables, and we used ingredients that we had in our pantry.